I'm joined today by Jeffrey Stoops, CEO of SBA Communications. Jeffrey, thanks so much for joining us today.
Dan, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you stopping by here. I know you're very busy at this show, but definitely appreciate the time. Well, I know one of those kind of overhanging subjects right now for a lot of tower guys and for guys, industry in general has been kind of the At&t, T-Mobile situation ongoing, and there's been a lot of questions here about what kind of impact that's having on the tower, on you guys, on other tower companies, and I know there's been some talk that the biggest issue is just the uncertainty of it all, really.
Yeah.
But from your point of view, what kind of overhang is that having on you guys? Is it impacting your operations at all? Are you guys having to maybe plan two different futures at this point? Or how are you guys viewing that issue? And however which way it goes, how will that maybe impact you for good or for bad?
Yeah. There's really not a lot that a company in our space can do operationally in advance of the transaction. Both T-Mobile and At&t are pretty guarded and actually in some cases restricted from taking action in anticipation of the merger. So we really haven't seen any changes in At&t or T-Mobile's behavior. There could be a fair amount of cell site decommissioning. So what you have is, and this is really more in the investor world than it is the operational side of our business. We really aren't doing anything much differently, although we do take a slightly different view of acquisition opportunities in light of the transaction than we might have otherwise. But that's probably the only thing that might be a bit different.
I know another topic that's kind of was brought up a couple times now has been the move, I guess, by some tower companies to kind of move into a REIT status to maybe take advantage of their property holdings and to kind of change that. I know you guys aren't quite far. You mentioned earlier you guys aren't quite far down the road on that yet. But what's your general view of that possibility at some point, and the pros and cons of moving to that kind of status, and what is it?
I think it is inevitable for all of us to ultimately become a REIT because it is the most tax-advantaged way to conduct businesses once you've reached the point that you would otherwise be a federal income taxpayer.
Yeah.
We have a fairly large built-up NOL position, so we're years away from exhausting that and needing to convert to REIT status to give us the appropriate federal income tax shield.
What are some of the challenges you see going forward? I mean, what kind of keeps you up at night or late at the office, or what are those things that kind of are that you see across the industry as kind of being maybe some of those challenges over the next 12, 18, 24 months?
Well, we want our customers to do well because we believe that if they do well financially, that they will have plenty of good reasons to invest more into the network. We believe the underlying consumer demand for data is almost without limit.
Yeah, it seems to be.
And the connection between increased data use and the need for additional infrastructure is very tight.
Yeah.
We're constantly training and growing our people. As we move internationally, we're able to do that without having to grow our overhead much, but there are a few positions that will need to be filled with key people